Okie doke, so moving on from straight row of chain, we're going to make a loop now, so I can demonstrate how to do a double crochet, or in American terms is single crochet. So for this tutorial, the beginner tutorials, we're going to use this yarn. It's a knitted yarn, so it won't split. The fibres are all held in by the knit. So it's a good one for beginners because you won't end up with the splitting of the yarn that can happen with a twisted wool. Okay, so if we start by making our chain again. So remember, take a loop, pull a loop through for your slip knot. And then we're going to make 5 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you've been practicing the other tutorial, hopefully you've got the hang of that chain stitch now. What we want to do now is make it into a loop. So to do that, we're going to take the hook with the loop still on through the first part of the chain. So if you look at the chain, it's in little V's. So you see the little V's going along there. Okay, so the first V, we're going to go into the one side of the V, so the one that we've got at the top of the chain. This is what we mean by working into chain, but for this we're only going into here. So then we've got 2 loops on the hook, and then we're going to take the yarn, put it over the hook, and then we're going to pull it through both of those loops. And you'll end up with a little tail there. You can just flip over, so you've got your working yarn. This is called the working yarn. This is the tail. So you take the working yarn in front of the tail, and then you can just hold the tail to the back. And what we've created here is a circle. So we've got a little circle made out of those chains. And what we're going to do to learn the double crochet stitch, we're going to work into the middle of this hole here. So if I put my finger through the hole, so you can see I've just got a little loop of chains. So we don't need to worry about going into stitches this time. We're just going to go right into the hole. And I think, personally, I find that easier than working into chain as a beginner, just so you get the hang of some of the stitches. Okay, so what we've done to now, what we did there was called a slip stitch. So we just joined 2 stitches together by pulling through. So that was a slip stitch. Now we're going to make 1 chain on this new ring. So just like before, take the working yarn over your hook and pull it through, and you've made 1 chain there now. So 1 chain is the amount you need for a double crochet, or American term single crochet. This is because it gives you the height of the stitch you're about to make. If you didn't have that height, the stitch would pull in to the previous row and you wouldn't get a nice finish on your stitch. Okay, so we've got that 1 chain. So to make a double crochet, you're going to keep this loop on the hook, and then you're going to take your hook into the middle of the circle. So we're not going into any stitches, we're just going right into the middle of that circle. And then take the yarn over the hook again and pull the yarn through. So you've pulled the yarn through the centre of that big circle, and now you've got 2 loops on your hook. And all you're going to do, so this is why it's called double, we've got 2 loops. We take that yarn and we pull it through both loops, and you've made your first double crochet. So to show you that again, take the hook, go into the middle of the ring of chains, and then hook the yarn over again, take it through. You've got 2 loops on the hook, and then you'll take your yarn over the hook again and pull the yarn through 2 loops, and you've made your second double crochet. So to practice, I would say you could probably fit maybe 10, maybe 8, 10 into this loop. Let's see. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 8's probably wise, 5, 6, let's just free up a bit more yarn, 6, 7, and 8. So when we do this, the one chain that we used at the beginning to create the height doesn't count as a stitch. So when you've gone to your double crochets, you'll see now that the V stitches are sitting at the top of the ring. So that's the top part of your double crochet stitches that you've just made. So you should have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're not counting this little chain here. And that should be lying quite tight and quite flat. So you wouldn't be able to get your hook in there anyway. And then you just want to keep that hook, loop on the hook, and we're going to slip stitch to that first stitch that we made. So we're going to push the hook under the little V that's sitting at the top of that stitch, and you should find the hook goes in there quite nicely and easily. And that's how you start working into your next row of double crochet. So take the yarn around the hook. This time we're just going to slip stitch because we're joining back to that beginning stitch. Slip stitch means to pull through both yarn without taking the yarn over the top. So now if I pull that out neatly, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 stitches on there, and then we're just going to make another single chain. Now we can't really work just one double into each of these because we end up with it pulling up. You need to, what they call, increase. So I'm not going to take you through that just yet because that's a bit more advanced. But if you just want to try making doubles into a ring, that's how to do it.